All right, listen up everyone. I'm Dr. Damian Wolf, and I'll be completely honest with you, I am literally one minor inconvenience away from desperately needing my third espresso today. But we've got a ton of ground to cover. Welcome to this classified orientation explainer for Project Paragon. Specifically, welcome to Sophos, our South American forward operating site. For all you newly assigned tactical and research personnel sitting out there, congratulations! You've just been deployed to what is, absolutely, without a doubt, the most perilous, reality-bending Foundation site on the planet. Look, I've been around the block. I've seen anomalies that would make a seasoned reality bender need a lie down. But what we have sitting down in this pit, it's entirely in a league of its own.
I actually want to kick things off with this quote from Victoria Schwab. Treat all the bad things like dreams. That way, no matter how scary or dark they get, you just have to survive until you wake up. Now, I know, it sounds a little eccentric for an official Foundation briefing, but trust me on this, it is absolutely vital advice. The eschatological reality you are about to step into beneath us is just horrific. It's going to test your sanity, it's going to test your training, and it will completely shatter your understanding of history. So keep this quote tucked in your back pocket. You are absolutely going to need it when the nightmares start bleeding into your waking hours.
Right now, we are all stationed safely at the surface-level observation towers, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta. These towers form a ring around a massive cylindrical access shaft that plunges directly into the Earth's crust, right here in the middle of the Amazon. Now, our drones have mapped this area extensively. The original design of this place was incredible, a majestic 7.5-kilometer stone stairwell carved by unknown ancient hands millions of years ago. But the reality we're dealing with today, complete catastrophic structural decay. The stairs just end abruptly, dangling completely unsupported over a staggering 43-kilometer deep lithospheric void. Think about that drop. Whatever held this mega structure together shattered eons ago. We are literally sitting on the edge of a jagged drop into ancient darkness.
Let's metaphorically drop, about 20 miles down into that void to meet the residents, 'cause, surprise, surprise, this cavern isn't empty. First up is Titania. This thing is a colossal, inverted botanical entity. Picture a tree stretching over 9 kilometers high. That's taller than Mount Everest, but hanging completely upside down from the cavern ceiling by its massive root system. At a cellular level, it is biologically inert. It's dead, but this isn't just some oversized piece of dead flora. According to ancient text we've recovered, this is literally the corpse of a fairy god. Titania, the ancient goddess of starlight and wishes. And let me tell you, her corpse is doing some very, very unnatural things. Meet SCP-6666-A, known to antediluvian scholars as the demon Hector. This guy is a 23-meter-tall humanoid. We're talking the height of an 8-story building. He's got 6 arms, 6 eyes, and an 18-meter-long iron spear permanently fused to his uppermost right arm. He is trapped, half-sunken right into the dead flesh of the tree, and he is locked in a continuous state of horrific agony. Toxic smoke pours out from the tree, constantly blistering his skin, but he instantly regenerates. It's an eternal cycle of torment, and he is constantly roaring and thrashing, just endlessly trying to pry the tree open. It's a lot to process, I know.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that to understand how a dead fairy goddess and a screaming, six-eyed giant ended up 20 miles beneath the Amazon, we literally have to throw our modern history books out the window and zoom back millions of years. This timeline right here maps out the true, hidden history of the Earth. Millions of years ago, humanity was born in the Flying City, the absolute historical crown jewel of mankind, built under the first king of men, Adam El-Assem. Fast forward a bit, hundreds of thousands of years ago, a weapon known as the Wormwood Anomaly was created specifically to wage war on humanity. Then, tens of thousands of years ago, great human knights were corrupted by a fairy curse, turning them into the primeval demons. And finally, roughly 400,000 to 500,000 years ago, a massive eschatological event known as the Day of Flowers triggered the Great Flood, wiping away almost all evidence that this ancient world ever existed. Project Paragon has been a real game changer because it forced us to hold our modern archaeological assumptions up against the genuinely horrifying realities we uncovered down there. For instance, the Foundation used to assume the demon Hector was nothing more than a fairy tale monster from the myth of Apollyon. The true reality? He was a noble, fiercely loyal knight who was corrupted and cursed to eternal agony just for serving the first king's lineage. Or take Caspin. We honestly thought he was just a simple folklore artist. In truth, he was Caspin the Dreamweaver, an entity who was kidnapped, tortured, and forced to teach an ancient, deeply malicious race exactly how to dream. And that brings us to the very creatures poor Caspin was forced to teach.
These guys are the architects of much of the horror currently sitting at the bottom of our access shaft. I need you to pay very close attention here, because this directly dictates why our containment protocols are enforced so brutally. The Children of the Night. These were towering, prehistoric nocturnal entities. They were originally created when the fairies made a wish to Titania, basically asking for a biological weapon to enact vengeance upon the first king. Awesome. But, as these things usually go, the Children of the Night turned on their masters. They are divine aberrations. And here's the absolute most terrifying part. They couldn't dream. So to communicate and to record their twisted history, they captured millions of humans and fairies, strung them up in the pitch dark, and psychically harvested their unending nightmares.
So to feed this horrific, sprawling empire, the Children of the Night utilized the wormwood anomaly. This is an ancient botanical weapon connected directly to the root system of Titania itself. These roots can literally reach up, grab entire civilizations, drag them deep down into the earth, and practically erase them from human memory. When our drone Hero flew down to Terminal 0 at the very bottom of the void, it didn't just find an old underground forest. No, it found over 280,000 emaciated corpses, totally frozen in time, piled up and physically clawing to get away from the tree. The roots had dragged them down, and they have literally been feeding the nightmare ever since.
So, how on earth do we survive doing our daily jobs while sitting on top of a dormant nightmare engine? By following strict, completely lethal, day-to-day survival protocols. Titania might be technically dead, but her newest root growth is very mobile and incredibly hostile. If new roots breach the soil near you, step 1, cease all movement immediately. They react to motion. Stop dead in your tracks. Step 2, we instantly deploy our HT1 fire teams with incendiary devices to violently push that growth back. Step 3, you are strictly limited to a maximum of 15 minutes of sustained exposure to these roots before you must rotate out. No exceptions. Finally, Step 4, engineering teams will apply high-density polyethylene foam, that's Operation Cauterize, to mechanically seal off any breaches in the cavern walls. Do not deviate from these steps. Any mechanical failure of your containment gear or even a single second of hesitation means you get dragged down into the dark.
Listen up, because I'm going to drop the coffee field enthusiasm for a second. I really need you to understand the immediate microscopic dangers you face simply by drawing a breath down there. At the bottom of the pit, constantly pouring out of the massive gash Hector is trapped in, is a 200-meter thick toxic fog. It looks like normal smoke, but it is actually a microscopic, incredibly fine pollen neurotoxin. If you are deployed on a deep dive, understand this right now. Even a microscopic speck of this pollen breaching your pressurized polyshell suit will cause a near-immediate loss of neurological function, followed by a rapid, fatal shutdown of your central nervous system. We do not have a cure for this. A single tear in your suit is an automatic death sentence.
And this brilliantly illustrates the unseen dangers we face, because beyond the microscopic physical hazards, we have a massive psychological toll. The psychic resonance of the entity, mixed with the lingering nightmares of the Children of the Night, literally bleeds upward through the rock. You must be hyper-vigilant for feelings of general uncertainty, severe unease, and extreme paranoia while on duty. But the absolute hallmark symptom you need to watch for? Vivid, recurring dreams of a six-eyed monster, the demon Hector, killing your loved ones or eating your heart, immediately followed by sleep paralysis where you physically cannot scream. Left unchecked, this stuff leads rapidly to suicidal ideation. You must self-report these early symptoms to Dr. Arnold immediately. Maintaining your mental health here is just as critical as checking the seals on your hazard suit.
The devil is 20 miles down, ladies and gentlemen, but you know the terrifying question that keeps us awake at night? What on earth is hiding beneath the canopy of that antediluvian forest? What's deeper? Well, that is exactly what we are here to find out. Welcome to Project Paragon. Now go drink your coffee, triple-check your gear, and ask yourselves, are you really ready for your first shift? Class dismissed.